Hi class, this is lesson 12.6, surface area and volume of spheres. So a sphere is a set of all points in space equidistant from a given point. This point is called the center of the sphere. A radius of a sphere is a segment from the center to a point on the sphere. So here's my radius right here. A chord of a sphere is a segment whose endpoints are on the sphere. So a chord would be something like from here to here. I would have endpoints on the sphere. That would be a chord, and we've talked about chords before. A diameter of a sphere is a chord that contains the center. So I'll draw a diameter in here. That would be a diameter. Okay. So we're just going to learn two more formulas here. First of all, surface area of a sphere. The surface area S of a sphere is 4 pi times our radius squared. And I remember this one because whenever we're doing surface area, we use units squared, and my formula has my radius squared here. So this is how I remember this goes with the surface area of a sphere. So let's try a couple problems here. So it says find the surface area of the sphere. So we'll use our formula. Surface area equals 4 pi times our radius squared. Well, this we know is our radius. So surface area equals 4 pi times 7 squared. So if I do 4 times 7 squared, my surface area exactly is 196 pi, and my units would be centimeters squared. Or that's approximately equal to, if you do 196 times pi in your calculator, 615 and 75 hundredths centimeters squared. So pause it and try the next one on your own. Okay, looking at this next one, it gives us the diameter, but we need the radius for our formula. So we know r is going to be 22 divided by 2, so our radius is just going to be 11 there. So our surface area is 4 pi times our radius squared. So my surface area is 4 pi times 11 squared. So if you do 4 times 11 squared, that's going to be 484, and then we'll keep our pi on there for our exact answer. Then our units would be inches squared. Now if we want a rounded answer, if you do 484 times pi in your calculator, you'll get 1,520 and 53 hundredths, and that would be inches squared. Let's try this next one right here. It says finding radius and diameter of a sphere. So looking at our picture, it doesn't give us the radius or the diameter right here, but it says the surface area of a sphere is this, square feet. Find the radius. So we're given our surface area right here, and we want to find our radius. So we can use our formula. Surface area equals 4 pi times our radius squared. Plug 110 and 25 hundredths pi in for surface area, and keep that equal to 4 pi times our radius squared. Now we're going to solve for our radius here. So we're going to divide both sides by 4 pi to get that r squared alone. So these 4 pi's cancel. The pi's over here cancel. And if you do 110 and 25 hundredths divided by 4, if you do that, you'll get 27.5625, and I can write that exactly. I didn't have to do any rounding to write that, so I'm going to leave it that way. And that equals my radius squared. So to solve it, we'll do the square root of both, and you'll find that your radius is 5 and 25 hundredths. My unit would be feet, just plain feet, because that's a distance. Let's flip the page over and look at the other side. So try this next one on your own. Pause the video and try it. Okay, so it says the surface area of a sphere is this. So there's my S. Find the diameter. Well, my formula, S equals 4 pi times my radius squared. This will allow me to find my radius, but I know my diameter is 2 times my radius. So we can still easily find our diameter. So my surface area, 169 pi, equals 4 pi times our radius squared. Now let's just solve this for our radius. So if I divide both sides by 4 pi, my pi and my 4 will cancel. I'll have my radius squared equals, my pi's cancel out over here. 169 divided by 4 will be 42 and 25 hundredths. To solve it, we'll do the square root of both sides. So my radius equals 6.5. But the question says find the diameter. So to find my diameter, I'm going to do 2 times 6.5. So my diameter is going to be 13, and my units would be inches because that's the distance. So you got to be careful if it says find the diameter. Make sure you solve for your radius first, and then just double it. Okay, this next one here says volume of a sphere. So now we're going to have a new formula for the volume of a sphere, and that's going to be 4/3 pi times our radius cubed. So to me it makes sense because volume is always in units cubed, and so we're going to have a cubed here. That's how I remember the difference between my volume and my surface area formula. Volume is always units cubed, and my volume formula has a radius cubed here. My surface area is always units squared, and my surface area formula right up here, we see it, has a radius squared. So let's use this. So example 3 says find the volume of the sphere, and they give us our radius. So let's just write our formula. Volume equals 4/3 pi times our radius cubed. So volume equals 4/3 pi times our radius, which is 3 cubed. So if I do 4/3 times 3 to the 3rd power, well, that's going to give me a decimal. Actually, no, it won't. 4/3 times 3 raised to the 3rd. It's not going to give me a decimal. I misspoke there. It's going to give me exactly 36, and then I can keep my pi on there. So my volume exactly is 36 pi, and that would be millimeters cubed. If you want a decimal form of that, just do 36 times pi, and that will give you approximately 113, and that would round to 113 and 10 hundredths, and my unit there still would be millimeters cubed. That would be my rounded answer and my exact answer. So pause it and try the on your own. Okay, so it says the radius of a sphere is this, so here's my R. I'm going to change my pen here. Find the volume. So find the volume. So we know volume is 4/3 pi times our radius cubed. So volume is 4/3 pi times 2.4 cubed. Now if you put 2.4 raised to the 3rd and then multiply that by 4/3, you're going to get volume equals 18.432. You have the 18.432 pi. That would be my exact value. My units would just be centimeters cubed. If you want your rounded value, then multiply that by pi. So your volume is approximately 57 and 91 hundredths centimeters cubed. So we just got a couple left here. We're almost done. So these are the problems. They're composites of our solids. So we've got to look at our two different shapes. For this one, I've got a cylinder, and then I've got half a sphere cut out of it. So to solve this problem, I'm going to have to do my cylinder minus half a sphere. So the volume of a cylinder is base area times height, minus half the volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi times our radius cubed. My base area for this problem, well, my base for here is pi times 3 squared. So it's pi times 9. So my base is 9 pi times my height is 5, so that gives me 45 pi for the area or for the volume of my cylinder. So I want to subtract from that 1/2 times 4/3 pi times the radius of my sphere is still going to be 3, so times 3 cubed. So if you do 1/2 times 4/3 times 3 to the third, that's going to give you 18, and then we can keep the pi on there. So if you do 45 pi minus 18 pi, that's going to give you 27 pi, and my units would be inches cubed there. Or if you wanted a rounded value, if you do 27 times pi, that's going to give you 84 and 82/100 inches cubed. So pause it and try the next one on your own. All right, so it says find the volume of a composite solid. So for this picture, we've got this half a sphere, and then we've got a cylinder, and this half sphere is added to the cylinder. So what we do is we're going to have to do our cylinder plus a half a sphere instead of minus a half a sphere. So for our cylinder, the area is base area times the height. For a sphere, it's half. We want half of it. And we're going to do 4/3 pi times our radius cubed. So for my base area of my cylinder, here's my radius. So my base area of my cylinder is 5.8 squared times pi. So I'll just put that in here for my base area, 5.8 squared pi times my height, which is 14, plus, I'm just going to keep it in that form because 5.8 squared is going to give me another decimal, so I'll just keep it like that. Plus half, and I've got 4/3 times pi, and my radius of this sphere right there is still 5.8. So times 5.8 cubed. So let's do a little bit of simplifying here. 5.8 squared times 14. Well, that'll give me 470 and 96/100 pi. Plus, if I do 1/2 times 4/3 times 5.8 raised to the third. Okay, that's going to give me a longer decimal. So it's going to be 130, about 0.07 pi. So I'm just going to round it here because I know I'm going to have a decimal answer there. So now, to put this all into your calculator, I'm going to do my answer. So I keep my 130.07, and I keep all of my decimals. So in my calculator, I'm going to do my answer times pi plus 470.96 times pi. So that gives me 1,888 and 21/100 pi, and my units there, no, not pi, I included pi already, 1,888 and 21/100, and my units here would be feet cubed because I'm talking about volume. So this is the end of the lesson. If you have any questions about it, you can ask me in class, and have a great day.